Okay, so we have a 2018 Dodge Ram 1500 that we're going to change the water pump on. And the first step that I did is I drained the coolant out of the radiator. And where you do that at is right down here on the corner of the radiator. You'll see that little hole. Well, that is where this plug came out of. So you just take a 10mm socket, stick in it, turn it, and it will pull itself out of there. And it's got an O-ring seal, and have a bucket ready, and drain that coolant out and save as much of it as you can. Next step is I'm going to knock the fan loose with an air hammer is what I use. They're usually on there pretty tight, just a couple little wraps with an air hammer, and that usually knocks them loose to where you can spin them off there. And then we got to get, the way Dodge did this, you got to kind of take the shroud and the fan out at the same time. I've got to climb down underneath the truck, and I'll show you that, where you unclip the fan shroud, but I want to have the fan loose already. So let me get my air hammer set up, and I'll knock this fan loose. Okay, I'm going to try to do this. The camera's kind of in my way. We'll give it a shot. I'll show you how I try to go about doing this. They make a wrench for this, and I don't have it, but I think these are left-handed threads. Yeah, it's loose. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, and like I said, they do make a wrench for that. They're not very expensive. I need to buy one, but never have yet. And the shroud, we just gotta pop these those little Christmas trees off, and then the shroud will unclip. Then we can get it out of our way. But to get the fan out, it clips up there, and it's got these little clips right here. And then the fan will come out through the bottom. That's easier said than done. Shut my camera off. Anyway, so you can see that shroud's unclipped from there. Now the fan's ready to drop right out here. There's the fan, and here's this bottom piece of the shroud. I've got to get these. Then go get my other tool. There's that one. Whoops. Come on out of there. This is really a two-hand job. Hold on, let me just support the shroud real quick. Okay, got that one. Can't see what I'm doing. The sun's shining in my face. There's that one. Okay. Now the shrouds come out through the top. Sorry guys, forgot to turn the camera back on. There's two bolts. There's one right here for the shroud and one on the other side right here. And then after that, pull the radiator hose up. Easiest way is just to unsnap it from those Christmas trees. And this is going to be kind of a two-hand job, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do with the camera. But I'm just going to finagle this shroud up and out of here and wiggle it past everything, and then we'll have access, plenty of room to get this water pump out of here. So let me get this shroud out of here real quick. Alright, literally 30 seconds later, shroud's out. Got it sitting down here, and you can see all the room we now have to get to this water pump. So let me get a camera set up so that we can capture most of this. I've already got this clamp pulled loose, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so first thing I want to do is get that serpentine belt off. Good idea to take a picture. But if you're like me, I never do. I try to remember it, and then when I realize I forgot, I have to go find the diagram. We'll go ahead and take the tensioner out of the way, and then start on the clamps.
And I think I'm just going to take the bolts out for the thermostat and not worry about taking the clamp off right there. Just popping the thermostat out right now. Gee, really worked for that one. Alright, I think it's just about taking the water pump off now. Take that tensioner off. Alright, now we just got to unbolt it. Looks like there's 11 bolts total. Take that back, there might be 12. I think that was going to have to come out. Yeah, there's 12 bolts total that makes that come off. And there's a pry point right here that you can use to pry it loose. So there it is. Now it's not RTV'd on, or it doesn't have a, yeah, it's got a rubber seal, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of cleanup required, but you do want to, you know, scrape around the mating surface here just to make sure that nothing gets in between that rubber seal and the face of the block.
Okay, so we have a temp sensor we've got to swap over, and a little water nipple to swap over. So that's what these two holes here are for. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's just a matter of unscrewing them. I use this stuff. This is thread sealant. This is what GM puts on their stuff. That's what I happen to have in my box. You could probably use Teflon tape, probably even some RTV, and screw them in there, and that'd probably do it. They're a pipe thread, so theoretically when you tighten them up they shouldn't leak anyway, but a little bit of sealant won't hurt. So let me get that done, and then we'll start putting this new water pump on the truck. Alright, got the little water nipple swapped over in the sensor. The one thing I like to try to do on these sensors is clock it to where the connector can be gotten to. But you don't want to over tighten these, because this is just an aluminum housing, and since this is a pipe thread, if you over tighten them, you run the risk of cracking the bosses right there. So if this starts getting too tight on you and you need to still clock it, back it off, tighten it up a little bit, back it off, tighten it up, and each time you do that it'll kind of wear those threads to where you can get just a little bit more turn on it. And you can generally get another half turn or so doing that, which should allow you to line up the little locking tab for the connector. So now it's just a matter of putting the rubber seal in the recess right here and getting this thing bolted back up. So let me get the camera set up. We're going to get the rubber seal in it and start putting the bolts in.
Alright, so I've got the seal in the water pump. I've got a couple bolts here ready so that I can just stab in it real quick. Alright, so that's 3 bolts right there that I've got in. Actually, I think this one here took a stud, so I'm going to take him back out. Put this stud in. And we got two more short. No, that's not a short. This one may be. Good idea to keep track of your bolts. I mean, I don't have a very good habit of doing that, but you can tell. I mean, like this bolt's a short one. If I tried to put it in right there, see how it goes all the way in? It doesn't catch any threads. I know that that's not the right spot for it. They're kind of idiot proof as long as you're not an idiot, I guess. So the short one goes on the very bottom, feels like anyway. So it looks like there's 3 different lengths of bolts. Now I think this top one up here took a stud. Or did it go here? Maybe it went right there. These 2 longest ones. So there's a couple of links there. I've already got the short ones in. These 2 longest ones go all the way down here by the radiator hose water neck. And then the rest of them go in the other holes. Hook the connector up for the temp sensor. Sorry about that glare, guys, but the sun's right in the worst spot. Okay, I guess I can go ahead and stick the hoses on. Check your tensioners and your idler pulleys at this stage, because if you got one bad, now's the time to change them. You've got a boss right here. Make sure that fits in this hole. That is a 16 millimeter, in case you need to know. All right. Now for the belt. What do I do with the belt? Here's the belt. Here's where the fun part starts. So this is where I always forget which way it goes. Hold on a minute. Do it like that. No, I don't think it went like that, guys. don't think it went like that. I think it went like this. I think we got it. I think we got it. I'm gonna flip that, I think. Nope. Make sure all your cogs are in the grooves. I'm gonna have to open that up. I know it's probably gonna create some glare. Okay, I think this is where you double check everything. I've already double checked all the bolts. This hose will fit on the water neck whenever I get it put back on. All the hoses over here is connected. This hose is connected. The connector's connected. This bolt's tight. All the bolts in the water pump's tight. Serpentine belt's on it. Also check your serpentine belt. If your cogs, you see that? If these cogs right here, these ribs, if they're cracked, you need to change your serpentine belt. This serpentine belt, the outside doesn't look the best, but it's still nice and pliable, and there's no cracks in the ribs. So always check that while you've got stuff apart. All right, let's see, the water neck is still attached over there. Another tip. So whenever you look at a lot of thermostats, can you see that? See the little this little brass piece right here? Put that at the highest point. Whenever I put this in here, I'm going to put the thermostat in with that sticking straight up. That way, as much air as possible can escape the system. If it's pointing down, you can get air trapped in the system. Need a screwdriver. Need a screwdriver. There we go. So you can see that little vent is at the 12 o'clock position, or the straight up position. That's where the air, whenever that thermostat's closed, that air is going to be able to go up to the top and evacuate itself out of that hole into the hose, because the air is going to rise and it's going to go up to the top part of this hose here and allow water to fill that cavity up. So that's what that little vent's for. Okay, so I think now, before I bolt the water neck back on, I'm going to drop this shroud down in here. I do believe, because that hose it's going to be easier with that hose swung out of the way like that. Okay, the shroud's in, bolts are in. The one thing I didn't show you is that to take this out, you need to take this connector and pop it out of its little hole there, its mount, to be able to get that shroud out of there. But that bolt and this bolt are in. And the shrouds, there's little feet that both the top and the bottom slide down into, so make sure you get the bottom and the top slid down in there before you put the bolt in. But the shroud should be nice and solid once that's done. And then at this point, it's just about, now notice I didn't take the water neck off, I just left it on. So I'm going to go ahead and
pop that down in there, and then we can bolt this up and put that bottom hose on. Hopefully you can see all that. Grab the bolt here. No RTV. Now, some of these do have gaskets. This one's got a rubber seal, which is, hopefully that's what you end up having, because the rubber seal's the way to go, in my opinion. I'm just trying to find that hole there. Okay, got it. And this was the one that I dropped the bolt. So I want to go down there, get the bolt from under the truck, get it in, hook that hose up, and then I've got to fish that fan up from the bottom and get it started on the threads, and then screw it on and then snug it up, and then put the bottom of that shroud on, and that's it. And this will be a done deal. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to bother showing the rest of that. That's pretty much it. Of course, fill the coolant up. I've got a gallon of coolant and some water. I've got some coolant that I gathered, that I drained out before I started. So I'll dump it back in there. It still look good, and then I'll put some new stuff in, and this should be a good deal. Anyway, I'm done. You guys take care. We'll see you.